How's it going? This is Tex, and this is Tex Talk. I have to start off with a little funny story to explain that, yes, even I screw up, and when I do, I actually like to bring it back and make it a lesson and learn from it. Today's talk was going to be about mindfulness and being present, and I forgot to hit the record button. I did my whole presentation, and then I stopped, and I didn't hear, recording ended, and the little thing it does, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Sorry. To me, it was funny, and it was very poignant. It was right to the point of being mindful and being present and watching what you're doing. All these things are important because they help you. So, on to my talk today about, in this case, how we get drawn into our emotions, and that draws us out of being mindful and being present in the moment. So the specific situation was about a client and the client's grandparent. The grandparent was at home, and the family was supposed to be taking care of the grandparent so that the client could go out and do errands and then come to their session. And in the middle of the session, text comes through. Did the grandparent get their medication? My client went off, and I was sitting there listening, being present, as they were getting angry and going, I can't believe they didn't already, take care of that, this person should have had their medication, maybe an hour ago, and just on and on. And I was like, oh, wait, rein it in. Come here, come back to me. And they're like, well, I've got a right to be mad, and they should have done. I'm not questioning all that. What I would like to know is, can you tell me something about where the anger's coming from? How is this so upsetting? Well, he should have had his medication, and this didn't, and they're going on and on about it. And I was like, so your anger is feeling bad about the person not getting their meds? Yes. Then why haven't you replied? What? Why haven't you replied? Until you reply, they can't give them their medication. And it was a moment of recognition when, if that's what's important to you, you should have already replied no, so they can give them their medication. Your being angry has now distracted you from being present, and you're not accomplishing the very thing that you're being angry about. So they did the no text, and I'm still angry, and they started off again. And I'm like, well, what do let's go with this. What is this anger about? Let's explore this. If we're going to bring it into session, let's bring it into session. This is the here and now. Let's talk about this. And the whole point then got to be, well, if they haven't given them their meds, they probably haven't taken care of them. They probably hadn't fed them. And by the time, I leave here and then I get home, and then I'll have to cook and make something for them to eat. And, and I was like, hold up a second. Can you do anything about the food situation till you get home? Well, no. I said, okay. You sure? Is it possible for you to text home and say, y'all need to feed grandpa? Well, they're probably not going to do it anyway, and and it'll still be on me. And I'm like, so you want a reason to be angry? I misunderstood this. I thought the anger was not wanted. You want the anger. Well, no, I don't want to be angry. Then why don't you do what you can, handle the situation? I mean, it's one of those things where you do what you can. If there's nothing you can do, then let it go until you can. In this case, if you want to be angry, why don't you wait? But there's no use being angry between now and then, because there's nothing that's going to change between now and then. unless you feel you need to be worked up and angry when you walk into the house. That way you can be mad and angry. And I said, and then poor grandpa, he has to eat your anger. What are you talking about? And I'm like, well, I'm a big believer. If you, just like, if somebody puts love and attention into the food that they're preparing and they serve you with that, then you receive that in that spirit. If you're angry, slamming, beating, banging around, you're putting all your anger in your food, then you're asking people to choke down your anger while they're eating. And I know some of y'all might not believe that, but I do believe if you pay attention, when you're being served, do you like being served by angry waiters and waitresses when you go out to a restaurant? Do you like being at the family dinner table and having whoever cooked the dinner slamming and being angry and stuff? It puts everything in a mood. So other people pay for your anger. That might be another reason to think about that. Well, what choice do I have? You have lots of choices. You don't have to be angry. You can be present. See, that's the problem. Being present means being the observer without judgment. Mindfulness is about observing yourself and the things around you without judgment, but just noting them, just accepting them, that they're there. You don't have to get into a story. You don't have to whip yourself up. You just have to notice things are happening. In fact, when you're getting angry, if you stop for a second and breathe and notice, oh, I'm getting, tight in the chest. Oh, I'm getting upset. Oh, I'm getting all these problems. Then that's you not being present. And if you're not present, then you're really not getting the gist of what it means to be mindful. That allows you then to make decisions on the information you gather. We let our anger take over and we lose our presence. We lose where we're at in the moment. And for this person, their anger had taken over and was controlling their life and was dictating to them what to do and how to do it. And it was taking away from their happiness, and it was taking away from their commitment to be in the moment and to live a better life. So that's why I always say to people, go back, take a moment and think about the reasons for being mindful to help encourage you to be mindful and practice it in your daily life. Living in the emotions, it's okay to enjoy your emotions, to feel your emotions, to not push them away, but at the same time, being able to observe them and realize, oh, I'm angry, I'm so upset, I'm anxious. Because anxiety and anger especially are this movement towards something that may not even exist. Anxiety is this what's going to happen thing. And again, you may be anxious about something that's not really going to happen. And you literally spend all this time and people say, well, I'm preparing what ifs, or I'm, getting, this helps me get prepared. Actually, no, anxiety is not being prepared. Anxiety is shifting towards hyperventilating over what could happen, not actually doing things to make it better. Anger is the same way. You're not doing things to prevent the anger or to stop what would happen when you get angry. What you're doing is you're reliving the anger and you're blowing it up and you're letting it consume you. And again, this has health effects, health consequences, life consequences. And in this case, very clearly, you cannot get on with your life if you are busy being in the anger. You're not present. You're not in the moment. Okay? So take a moment to think about that. Are you being present? Are you being mindful? Or are you letting other people emotions, your emotions, other people's emotions batter you around? Have you shifted your locus of control to an external thing where everything else is to blame in the world and you just get bounced around? Are you taking control of it? Thank you, and I'll talk to you again next week.